everyone, welcome to the Huckleberry Hideaway Homestead. This episode is going to be just a little bit different. We still will kind of throw in a few clips here and there of some of our work, but mainly today we just want to check in with you and talk about where we are at this point in the project, how we're feeling, kind of the good, bad, and the ugly that's going on. So do you want to tell them what we just got completed?
So we just finished phase 1, which is getting the utilities to the garage apartment building. So electric is there now. We got sewer and water, at least roughed in over there. So just had electric put in, and now all of our trenches are officially gone.
Woohoo!
So our road is now open fully. We don't have to play we got really good at the car shuffling game.
Yes.
It's not a fun game.
No. Especially we had to move Jordan's pickup a lot because we had to fill the camper with water, or he had to go get water, going to work.
Megan's going places.
Getting the trailer for things.
Up and down.
And so not having an open through driveway has been
huge pain, because our driveway, the road is a single lane road in most cases. There's some spots where there's some extra space, but park a vehicle on the road and you're pretty much blocking the way. So
yep. Yeah, so some of those things you guys have already seen. You saw the point where we got our water roughed in, Jordan doing the plumbing and even the electrical he showed off in the last video, but the big marker for this end of phase was burying everything and just having everything like we never did anything, right?
Kind of, yeah.
But this is kind of a big deal because this was the most, I don't know, I think this is the biggest step, getting all those utilities to that building, right?
Yeah, that's a huge piece. Everything tore up. Can't get around. There's piles of dirt and rocks everywhere. You don't have stuff where you need it. It's the big hurdle as far as time and the weather and all that kind of stuff is concerned. So.
Well, and then also we took a dry building that had none of those things, and those things are at the different part of the property, and we got them to them. So that's huge.
Yeah. A lot of work. Many hours spent.
Yeah.
So that's been good. On top of the dirt work, we had Tom Peterson out again. Shout out. Helping out with the Bobcat. Appreciate that, Tom. He filled in our trench, kind of moved some of our gravel that was back into the pile, and then spread a little bit of gravel so it's not as muddy. Just cleaned up a lot of the dirt work stuff after we've had some rain and stuff settled out, so that's been huge. We got some fill dirt and got the cistern buried. Tom helped out again with that. I put some foam board down on the top, and then we put fill dirt on top of that. I did a little bit by hand, but then Tom came in and really buried that thing, so should be not having any freezing issues with the cistern, hopefully. So yeah, huge, just a lot of dirt work. To see that done is nice after having piles that you're walking over and stepping around holes and jumping trenches to get places, having stuff laid everywhere because there's no spot for it, and now it's
yeah, our garage sale that I referred to, the garage sale that you would just drive right past, it's finally all that stuff is kind of put away in different places.
Yeah, we got stuff sort of organized, going through more stuff, some stuff getting rid of, giving away, that kind of thing, organizing. So, but it was weird yesterday, a couple days ago, pulled the grill out, and it was just the grill, that was all that was there.
Whereas before we would have to like kind of move things around in our little like, I don't know, driveway, you could say, like that space in front of the garage door. We'd have to kind of move some things around. And now it was like all by its lonesome. But
Well,
that
and
was
we
nice.
had that, in addition to the trench that was still open, we had that pile of gravel there, which
Yeah.
Tom scooped up, a couple scoops out of it, put it into the other pile of gravel that we have, and then spread the rest of it out. So that was nice. It's nice just to have a space. I can pull my pickup in. I parked the trailer over there now. The space to drive through, driving around with the 4-wheeler. It's awesome. It's weird because you kind of
Yeah,
forget
well,
like what it was like having space to do some of that, and you
Yeah.
get so used to not having anything, and now it's like a little luxury that we
Yeah,
have a place
so-
to park.
So the 4-wheeler, speaking of that, so if you follow us on Instagram at all, at the Huckleberry Hideaway Homestead, you probably saw that we got a 4-wheeler, kind of a hand-me-down 4-wheeler that was given to us by my mom. So my mom had...
Thanks, Steph.
Yeah, thank you, Mom. My mom had a cabin in Wyoming. Our family would go snowmobiling there and things, and a lot of us are all grown up now, and we've moved away from Nebraska's where we were originally from, and we would just go from Nebraska to the cabin in Wyoming for trips. But now that we live in the mountains, my sister's older, a lot of us aren't going there as much, so my mom did decide to sell it. And we actually went down there 2 weekends ago to get some of the things, help her button up, and just button up some of the things that needed to be done. Load up. There was quite a number of snowmobiles that she was getting rid of. So we helped her do that, and then she gave us this 4-wheeler, and then we actually are getting 2 snowmobiles. One that has always been lovingly referred to as the granny sled. It's just like an old skidoo 2-up sled, and then another snowmobile that was totaled but repaired. So we're going to be getting those another time. We had to put them in storage down there because we couldn't get everything in one.
Yeah, because we also just odds and ends, from there. Other stuff you'll see in future projects, so stay tuned.
Yeah, and
Got all sorts of stuff, little building stuff, and just things to kind of spruce things up and make the cabin nice, and just different things, odds and ends. So stay tuned, and again, thank you, Steph, for all the
the
assortment of
snowmobiles.
goods.
Snowmobiles, I think, are really going to come in handy this winter when, because we don't know what it's really going to be like up here. So just in
We
case,
know there's going to be a lot of snow.
yeah, we do know that. So just in case we get snowed in, Jordan could like snowmobile down to the highway to get a ride to work if we need to. But so that's a really
nice
big
about working
relief.
from home. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I do go into the office sometimes.
True.
Like today, but anyway, so that was something that we did and was nice, and it was also good to just see the cabin one last time and kind of say our goodbyes. Yeah. So at this point in the project, how are you feeling? Like, do you think this was what you were expecting? Easier, harder? What do you think?
It's close to what I was expecting. There's parts that have been harder. I was anticipating that the framing and the downstairs of the garage was going to go a little bit quicker. But just because every wall was a little bit different in measurements and everything, that really slowed it down. But that was the big thing for me. Mostly everything else so far has kind of gone, as far as like projects I've been working on, haven't been too bad. That was just the one that was really tough and slow. But like the plumbing stuff wasn't what I felt like. It was kind of about what I anticipated, mostly. And then some of the delays in getting people to, like, for contractors, like electrician, just getting people scheduled. Like, we've been general contracting ourselves, so it's been good, but sometimes it's hard to coordinate like estimates and getting people scheduled and fit into the process where they need to be. So like plumber has to come really before we can do much else. So you saw the electricity stuff and all the work the electrician did. That's
For the first part.
for the first phase of what they're doing, which was lay the power to the garage and get the cabin kind of safe so it doesn't burn down. And so that's fine. But now with the other buildings, since we have plumbing going in there, you do plumbing first, and then electricians can kind of put stuff around the plumbing easier than the other way around. So plumbers
it's just figuring out the
getting
organizing
stuff coordinated,
everybody.
and everybody's got a schedule and everybody's behind these days.
Because, like, we're not contractors. Like, there's things that we don't know, and, I mean, the subcontractors that we're contacting, they're usually helpful in that. So, like, when we're calling them, like, when do you need to come in the order of things? And they're pretty good about, like, telling us and informing us about those things. But it's just, like, an extra step. It's, like, something we don't know that we're learning.
But yeah, I mean,
Good
honestly,
things
all things considered, we're not really. I think we're on schedule. Maybe slightly behind with some
Going
of the
forward, yeah. So going forward, we have like the rest. Well, we have the rest of the utilities scheduled, and that got scheduled farther out than we were wanting. So that's kind of a bummer, but you know, I think we are lucky actually because all of the initial stuff has been on time. So
Yeah.
up to
Like-
this point, I
yeah,
would say,
exactly.
yeah, we've been on time. So
Um,
what about like budget things?
everything's over budget.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah.
Everything's over budget.
Yeah. Just odds and ends that you don't anticipate. You know, you add in the 20% on what you think, and that's probably even lowballing. You probably should even go 30-40% with something like this where you're retrofitting, because there's so much, you know, I grab this tool and I need this, and you know, just little things that just add up, $100 here, $100 there, and that kind of thing. And then estimates that
Yeah, estimates.
change, or
And that goes back, like the estimates part, like getting those subcontractors to come. It goes back to just not knowing what those things usually cost. Like we literally, like for spray foam insulation, we got an estimate person to come and do an estimate for us, and we were estimating way below what it actually ended up being. And when we got it, we consulted with some other people that kind of are informed, and thinking back, we probably should have consulted those people first. But after consulting those people, they were like, yeah, that's pretty normal. And we're like, really? Okay. But we are, you know, just like anything, like if you're going through something like this, always get more than one estimate. That's always good. So we will be getting more estimates for that. But it sounds like after we talked to some other people about that other estimate, that's pretty normal. So it's kind of those things, going with the flow with that.
it's been, I mean, kind of in some ways exhausting. I mean, I get off work and work till dark, and then days off I'm working all day. So it's just, yeah, I mean, the amount of man hours being put into this project is spectacular.
We knew it was going to be a lot of work, but knowing something like that and experiencing it is different. So yeah, I'm actually amazed how much we're able to continue to do. Like I think of like sometimes they say when you like have your first kid, you're amazed on what you can do on like 3 hours of sleep. You know, not exactly like that, but kind of like I didn't know, thinking about everything that we're doing, it's crazy that we can keep doing it, keep going.
Yeah, I don't know how, but
And not to say that there aren't days, because there are days and sometimes maybe more days than not, where we're just like, I don't know about you, but I'm just like, I just want to not do something. like it's, I know, like, on a homestead there's always things to do, but that's different than like having to do something. We have to do this because right now we're under the pressure of winter. Like, we have to do these things to get them done before winter comes, so we are warm. And that, I think, is a little extra stressful.
Yeah, we have less choice in what we're doing. It's just like, you got a big list, and you attack the most important and move forward, but there's still a big list of stuff that you have to get done. Versus, there's things that, in the future we'll need to do during the warm months, but most of them, if not all of them, will not be like life or death type of things, versus right now it's just gotta go. Every waking moment of good weather and time has to be spent doing stuff to get done. So, because if I hadn't done what I have, I can't even imagine where we'd be right now. Which does bring me to another point. It's not just been me or us doing this stuff. I think about all the man hours put in by friends, and obviously the contractors have their stuff, but mainly just friends and who've put in hours.
And family.
And family, and friends and family.
Like family that came here from a different state to help. Like, wow.
Yeah, because my dad came out, shout out, to help. Stayed out here for almost a week.
And you guys saw that in
You
our
saw
past
that
videos, yeah.
when we were doing the box framing upstairs.
My mom came out, helped tear down.
My mom, Steph, came out and helped tear out the Fort Knox chicken wire. You figure there's many hours tied in there on top of the time we were putting in. And then shout out to Sean, who's been out here multiple times helping out. You saw him with the framing. Also, we've had
our friend,
Tom out here. He's had his Bobcat out here, which has been great.
Our friend Spencer came from Idaho.
You saw him in one of the framing videos. He stayed out here for a couple days, camped, and just said he helped do a bunch of tear down in that downstairs that you saw.
Yeah, just super awesome.
Yeah, trying to think.
Our
community group tore out the deck and piled all that wood. Yeah, so it's just, without all these folks helping, we wouldn't be anywhere close either. It's crazy to think the hundreds of hours I'm putting in and that you're putting in would still not be enough to be where we are now without everybody else's help.
And not only that too, but like people that are just supporting us too. Even you guys, like, doing this, documenting it like we are doing this YouTube channel. You guys are also like motivating to us to like continue and keep going, because we're like, we got to get it on the video, people are expecting it. And so that has actually been a motivator too. So thank you all. You're really important to us too. So that's great. And we love hearing from you. Yeah, we love hearing from you in the comments too. It's always fun to wonder what other people are thinking about as they're watching, and also, like, if we are saying something or not saying something, it's always good to get that feedback or like comment from you, like, oh hey, what's that going, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, we didn't even talk about this. So yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah, keep commenting. Questions are great. Things that you'd like, throw some comments out there, things you'd like to see more of, or maybe less of, or questions about future projects, and maybe certain things you want detailed in a different way, or that kind of thing. So I'd like to hear that, so we kind of have an idea of what we're doing for documenting and showing people stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some, like, I don't know, things that you think they would think are entertaining or funny that we haven't shared already?
Poop cart.
You want to share out the poop cart?
So we borrowed a.
Well, okay, first of all, before he tells this, so, like, we are so thankful, and I've said this before, but we're so thankful for the camper. So there was, like, an episode where I talked about how we're living up here and how our friends from church are letting us, thanks Steve and Laura, how they're letting us borrow their camper. It has been so awesome, but along with it has come other responsibilities, other things, like we talked about just earlier, you know, getting more water, emptying the gray water, emptying the black water, just there's a lot of upkeep, I guess, that you have to do, and I would not trade it for a tent, trust me. But we've had some interesting experiences with the black water.
Yeah, so we have a we never talked about the hauling the camper, did we?
We never talked about that.
So when we first time, like a month and a half ago, probably.
Yeah. It was the first time we had to dump it.
We had to dump the black water because it was full. So we have a septic tank down here. And so my thought was, let's just bring the trailer close to the septic tank and dump it right in there. Easy enough.
Then we don't have to go all the way down the mountain into town with this very long trailer. How long is that? 30?
I think it's 30.
32 feet, and it's also made in the Midwest. Steve got it from his parents who are in, like, Arkansas or something like that. So it's not made for the mountains. So that's key. It's very low to the ground, and so we were really not wanting to have to take it all the way down the mountain with a very low clearance.
So I had originally, which is dumb of me, I used the drop hitch because Steve's truck is higher than mine. So he had a drop hitch with, like, the load levelers and everything, and I threw that on. I don't know why I did, but trying to drag that thing out of here, the hitch was so low that certain spots would just dig into the ground. It was like a plow.
Yeah, we were plowing the ground.
So I'm down here trying to back up to the septic and forward and back and just tearing stuff up.
Going between rocks and trees.
And again, we only have the one road because the other road at the time was tore up from the trench. So I'm bringing it down. I get it into a decent spot, but it's so low that the septic riser is higher than the black water drain. So that doesn't work. Then we try trimming some trees and try to bring it up higher, but then the black water's on the wrong side of the trailer for it to drain under there. So it's just...
It was how many hours? Probably...
I think we spent 2 or 3 hours.
You guys.
Trying to do that.
This was like on like a Sunday night or something like that. We were just done.
So,
I think it was the most...
I was pretty angry at that point.
I think it's like in the top two times that the most angry I've ever seen him. And I was mad too. We were both so mad.
So, in the end, what I did was I figured out which would have saved me a lot of headache if I just used my regular hitch, because then it wasn't nearly as low. So I did that, and then we hauled it to town.
Yep.
And dumped there, and
went and got Mexican and margaritas.
Yep, that was a margarita kind of night.
It was.
So it worked out good. Then we got it back up here, and since then we borrowed Joe and Riss. Thank you.
Yeah, they're another big help. We've mentioned them before.
Yep. Borrowed one of those. I call it a poop cart, but it's like a little roller tank. It's got a handle, and you hook the black water up and you fill it, and then you can just roll it down and then dump it.
I've been noticing those on campers all over now.
Yeah, I guess, it's kind of a smart thing. I'd never seen one before. So we borrowed that, and we've been using it and filling and just rolling that down the hill. pulling the top off the septic and dumping it in. So it's been great. Now we don't have to haul that camper around at all. But the first time we did it, so
Make sure you're not eating right now.
Yeah, don't be eating right now because it's super gross. But I was hooked it up, open the drain so it's filling, and there's like a valve in it that once it gets full, it pops so it stops the flow. Well, the idea is then that you can shut your valve on your camper, and what's left in the hose, you can like vent that valve and it'll get the rest of it inside. Well, that didn't work.
Yeah, Jordan goes, I'm there helping him too. Jordan's like, push that valve. So I'm like, okay, push. Human poop all over my arm, like sprayed all over my hand and arm. It was so disgusting, you guys. It was so nasty. I was freaking out.
Yeah, nothing like some raw sewage. Yeah.
Yeah, and
so,
then... Go ahead.
I was going to say, since then, we kind of figured it out a little bit better. And haven't had nearly as many issues, but that first one was...
Well, and then even at that time, so like when I pushed that and that happened, the stuff that was still in the hose didn't go in. Like, the thing was full. And so we were like, what do we do with this?
Yeah, so got a bucket, put the bucket down there, shut the valve, and then just pop that thing off, and then had a bucket, quarter full bucket of raw sewage.
Oh, it's so gross, you guys. Oh my gosh. But these are some of the escapades that we haven't filmed because they're not very pleasant.
Well, and at the time, I'm like, you think it's going to be a 5-minute thing. Like,
Yes.
oh, da 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 da.
Yeah, that's the other
Then it
thing.
turns into this like thing, and you're just angry and disheartened. But now we've kind of figured it out, the system a little bit better, and haven't had nearly as many issues with it. So it's been really handy to just have that thing to haul down, dump in the septic, and make a couple trips every week or two, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So that's been good. However, a flushing toilet will be awesome once we have water and everything up there. So
And
then
that
our
was-
septic tank will be being used as intended.
Yes. And on that, like, that was something that was kind of a bummer, is with, I was mentioning earlier how our next few subcontractors, like for the roughing in of the plumbing, electrical, and getting water like fully going, how those got pushed out a little bit. The part of that is a bummer, is that we won't have a flushing toilet or like an actual real shower or washing machine dryer until then.
For another month.
Yeah, for another month. Well, and I guess now that I think of it, we'll be able to have our dryer, I guess, plugged in, but it's not like, yeah.
Doesn't help much.
Yeah.
I guess it helps a little bit, time-wise,
Yeah.
instead of doing it at the laundromat.
Well, and we've been taking our wet clothes home and line drying them anyway, so.
True.
But, yeah, so just kind of wanted to fill you guys in on where we were, like how we were doing, like mentally as well. Some of the lessons that we've been learning along the way. Yeah, I just wanted to fill you in on that instead of it just being all work all the time, because we're also human.
We're up here just living.
Yep. Still would not trade it. We finally got a little bit of clear skies the last few days. It's still a bit smoky, but like a day ago it was a lot clearer, and still just walking around I'm like, this is ours. Like, it still is awesome.
Yeah.
And like shocking. And the other night, not last night, the other night before, we did take just a little stroll around our property and found some raspberries, like a huge patch of raspberries. So we're super
And
excited
some
about that.
chokecherries.
Yep, we found some different chokecherry trees around in different places, so that's exciting. We're hoping We haven't had time to like really look, but we are hoping that we're gonna find some huckleberries. So we live up to our name. So we are hoping to search for those. Again, we have a lot of other priorities. The stroll we did the other night was literally like 5 minutes, and we found some of those things. Huckleberries are a little bit harder to find. They're in harder places to get to. Like they like to be on hillsides, steep hillsides, and I heard this year, I'm hearing from people that it's not a good huck season.
So dry, I think.
Yeah. But some of that stuff is so fun. We're kind of dreaming about like layout of, where we want to put our chicken coop and goat barn. And we finally decided, I don't know if we've shared with you guys yet, but we finally decided on our home site.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be really good. So maybe I'll kind of show you that in another video of where that's at.
Yep, and as far as projects are concerned, you saw, as we said earlier, phase 1's done. Phase 2, which is framing upstairs, sheeting the outside of the building, insulation, siding, windows, some plumbing stuff. So all that's coming, so make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends. If you think that there's somebody you know that might enjoy this channel, share it with them. Follow us again on Instagram at Huckleberry Hideaway Homestead, no spaces, just Huckleberry Hideaway Homestead. I'll put it up here on the screen so you can see that. We'd love to see you over there. On Instagram, sometimes you can get some behind the scenes things that are going on, things that I don't or Jordan doesn't like film with the camera for the YouTube channel. So there's some like behind the scenes stuff you get to see, and some sneak peek type of things. So sometimes I'll share a picture of something that we're doing that won't get posted on YouTube for like another week or so. So you get some good glimpses into what's going on the homestead there as well. Again, we appreciate your engagement on comments, and we appreciate you guys. So hope to see you next time.
Bye.